Rosemary, and welcome to my channel. Today, I'm going to give you a short little tutorial on how to hold the bow. So, this is my bow, and the bow has a couple parts to it, which are important to know. This is the tip. This is the frog. I learned that it's called the frog because it's the heel of the bow, and the heel of a horse is also called a frog, which is important because this is horsehair. This white stuff here is all horsehair. In more modern bows, sometimes you can see carbon fiber, but most of the time it's horsehair. So the heel of a bow, being called a frog, makes a lot of sense. That's something I learned pretty recently. This here is a screw, and you can use this to tighten or loosen the bow. So I'm going to tighten the bow right now. And usually I say to my students about a pinky width between the bow stick and the hair is a safe place to go when you're first trying to figure out how tight the bow needs to go. So that's like my little guideline. So to hold the bow, there's a couple of tricks, and I like to think this is pretty foolproof. It's a great way for students, young and old, to figure out how to hold the bow right away. So we're going to hold the bow with our left hand, just hold it by the nut, with the hair pointing up to the sky. And our hands have joints in them. Our fingers have joints. See all these little lines in our hands? So we're going to look at the top joint in all of our fingers. Those are going to be our train tracks, and the bow is going to be our train. So we'll hold the bow from this little screw with the hair pointing up, and we'll sit the bow stick in our train tracks on that bend of our fingers with our palm facing up in our right hand. This is our right hand. So we'll slide the bow, the train, up the train tracks until your pointer finger is resting on this black part right here. It's almost like a cushion for your finger. And now your finger might end up resting a little further up, but yeah, this is a nice little spot for your hand to rest. Your thumb goes on this metal piece right here. So for beginners, we usually say the metal piece. For people who are more advanced, or for people with bigger hands or are just feeling like that's not quite comfortable, we will end up putting our finger right in this rut here between this part of the frog and this cushion part. This part here is where our thumb will eventually live. So you can put your thumb on this metal piece to start while you're building up that dexterity in your hand, building up those hand muscles, or put it on the inside. Now leave your hand nice and relaxed here. Like, don't move it at all. Leave your fingers completely relaxed. We're going to flip the bow onto our shoulder to take the weight off of our hand completely. The only place you're feeling the weight right now is sitting on your thumb. Now we're just going to plop that pinky right on top of the bow. And this is a really soft, relaxed bow hold. And here it is to look at up close. So the pattern is slide, thumb, flip, pinky. Easy peasy, nice bow hold. Our pinky is really curled, and it's the only one that sits on top of the stick. So as you can see, the stick is almost ridged like a pencil, especially at the top here. A lot of bows are ridged. Not all of them are, some of them are round, but even some round ones will be round up here and then ridged here, just for comfort. So right here, your pinky is sitting right on that very top flat bit. Right there, but all your other fingers are rounded. Another way you can look at like having a nice soft bow hold, some people talk about making a fox. You make this fox shape with your hands, and these two fingers here are your huggers, so they hug together, they're partners. And then your thumb is always opposite your huggers, so your thumb would sit on the metal piece. Your huggers would wrap around the frog, the black bit, your pointer finger is here, and your pinky is up. So you're making that fox face with your bow. So that's another way, but I find that sometimes people get really rigid that way, and then it doesn't feel natural. So I really like the idea of this slide, thumb, flip, pinky, because you get that really relaxed hand. One thing to watch out for is when you flip, some people, they want to get a grip of their bow, and so they go right on top like a claw. We don't want a claw. No, we want it to be nice and relaxed and rounded with our fingers wrapped around the bow. The only finger that's perched on top is our pinky. And that helps your hand get this sort of momentum, or this sort of motion so you can sort of pivot when your bow is on the string and you're rocking back and forth or doing more dexterous movements. So when you have your bow hold, let's try that a couple times. So we've got our bow facing to the sky, slide, thumb, flip, pinky. Let's try it one more time. Slide, thumb, flip, pinky. Nice and curled, beautiful, perfect bow hold. Now, let's try taking it one step further, and let's do some exercises to get that bow really comfortable in our hands so we know exactly how that's supposed to feel and get really comfortable, because it's a new muscle motion. We're learning something new. Our fingers have never moved that way before. So we've got to get used to that muscle memory of feeling the bow in our hands. You want to be so relaxed that somebody could go and just take your bow out of your hand super quick. The bow is literally sitting in my hand pretty much just by the stickiness of my fingers. Like, it's not staying in my hand because I'm gripping it. It's just relaxed there. Like, it's super loose. So the first exercise I want to teach you is called finger push-ups. So we're going to hold the bow in our hand with our beautiful bow hold, and we're going to squish our fingers up and then push them out. Squish them in, push them out. Squish them in, push them out. Squish them in, push them out. And that's really tricky for a lot of people. So finger push-ups. It's a motion that you're not used to. And try not to drop the bow. So exercise number 2 is a exercise that I learned by doing the Suzuki teacher training method courses, which is a nice little poem. And it goes like this. Up like a rocket, down like the rain, side to side like a choo-choo train, round and round like the great big sun, put it on your shoulder, check your pinky and your thumb. And you do that because you want to make sure your pinky is nice and curled and your thumb has a bit of a bend to it. Exercise number 3 is what I like to call windshield wipers. So we rock the bow back and forth like a windshield wiper. And sometimes with my younger kids, I'll get them to make the sound of a windshield wiper. Eek-er, eek-er, eek-er. And what's nice about this exercise is you get to feel the balance and how the bow shifts from being weighted on your pinky, and you feel how much you need this pinky to weight it on your thumb back here, and how much those two fingers are like super integral to having that really good weighted balance and control on your string. So that's exercise number 3. Last is exercise number 4. This is what I like to call the octopus race, but some of my students call it the squid race. I don't know why, but they all call it the squid race, even though I've never once called it the squid race. They all call it the squid race, but it's the octopus race. And you put your hand in your bow hold, and then your goal is to crawl your hand like a spider or a squid all the way to the top of the bow, back to the bottom. So this is really fun if you have kids and you want to practice with your kids and see who's fastest, or it's a great way to just build up that dexterity in this part of your hand. So, on your marks, get set, go. And we don't want to drop the bow to the top. We are crawling down like a spider or an octopus. Try not to touch that bow hair, and then we crawl our way back up. And I sort of cheat. But yeah. This is the octopus race. And find your bow hold again. So, that was how to hold the bow and some exercises on practicing holding the bow and feeling comfortable. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you gained something from this, and happy practicing!